are in listen-only mode.
Good morning or good afternoon today. Thank you so much for joining us. We have Web Connect here today, and they're doing a presentation on the life of the mobile sales rep, Web Connect sales rep tour, Profit 21 data on Google Maps, and an update on the free community mobile version. Probably the longest webinar title I've ever had. Thanks, guys. And of course, we have Web Connect will be at our Connect conference starting in just about a month. So I don't know how many years you guys have supported the user group, but it goes back as far as I can remember, and I've been here for a while, so I want to start off by thanking you for that. We were just talking about golfing at the Arizona Grand, and how it's going to be a fast course, and we're all going to have the best scores of our lives, so we might as well do it. And hopefully I can get the Web Connect team out for both days, including our event on Sunday. But I don't want to take up too much of their time, so I'm going to quickly go through my housekeeping slides as we get started. As everyone knows who comes to these webinars on a regular basis, I like to start out by thanking our board of directors. The reason why I do, and all their names are up here on the screen, is there is a tremendous amount of work that gets done behind the scenes that many of our members don't see. Not only are we planning for Connect right now with just 4 weeks left to go, the session grid we pulled together for Connect is our largest. We have more classes than we even did last year. Our early bird registration wrapped up on Friday. We broke a record on the number of registrations we received at that period and compared to years past. It is a testament to the amount of work that went in behind the scenes before anyone even knew that we were thinking about Connect by this board of directors. So we have Sam, Brian, Mike, Ted, and Eric. On top of Connect, of course, we have our initiatives with Insights, our local groups, and just working alongside with Epicor. Of course, we have Epicare coming out. Many of you have seen those messages on the forum this morning, and it is our board that keeps involved with Epicor as we go. So as always, like I said, I like to thank them for the amount of work they put in as volunteers on top of their responsibilities with their families and with their work outside of the user group. So thank you to them. And of course, registration is still open for Connect 2016, September 25th to 27th at the Arizona Grand Resort and Spa. There are very few rooms left actually at the hotel. We're booking up very quickly. So do book your hotel room if you haven't done so already, and register for Connect. If you go to the user group forum at the top right-hand corner of the forum screen, you'll see that logo, the Connect 2016 logo on the right-hand side. Click on that. That takes you over to the Connect microsite where you can find all the information you need, including session descriptions, our session schedule, hotel and travel information, and how to make reservations at the hotel. So take advantage. It's a great opportunity to network with other P21 users and companies like Web Connect that will have a presence there. I don't have their booth number handy, but definitely you can come see me when you're checking in, and I will point you over to Web Connect. And my contact information is right here on the screen if you ever need to get a hold of me. Any questions you have regarding your membership, regarding Connect, or the forum, or webinars such as these. I know we're going to have contact information from Web Connect up on the screen at some point in time, but if you do not get the chance to write that down, you can always speak with me, and I will get you in touch with the team there. So I'm going to pass the floor over to Doug, and while I do, I want to remind everyone about how to ask questions today because there's a few ways to do so. The first way, of course, is if you're connected using your telephone, you can always just raise your hand and we'll unmute you and you can ask your questions live. If you are not connected with your telephone and you're just using the mic and speakers on your computer, we ask that you type your questions in using the question feature here in GoToWebinar. You're also welcome to email your questions over to me and I will take those throughout the presentation. Please do not worry about holding your questions to the end. Please put them in as you think about them. As they start to pile up, we'll take some pauses and we'll take your questions there. So over to you, gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks, Cheryl, and hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. My name is Doug Bliss, and joining me today here are Andy Garrett and Ewell Gatan, and Andy will be up next. Cheryl will be handing the controls over to him in a moment, and he will take us through the life of a mobile sales rep. It's a Web Connect sales rep tour. On deck is Ewell, and he will be showing a preview of our September release, which will be in conjunction with the user group conference in Phoenix. It's a new suite of features we have called the Data Explorer. So you'll see a number of interactive customizable grids and charts, and also Google Maps, all driven by your live P21 data. For those of you that are new to Web Connect, we've been working in P21 development since around 2006, and out of that, Web Connect evolved. Web Connect is built from the ground up with P21 in mind, and it is mobile optimized, so it runs on any device that has a browser. So those are laptops, tablets, smartphones, PCs, Macs, just anything that has a browser. It does run real-time in your environment against your live P21 data and has broad feature sets in the areas of CRM, business intelligence, remote ordering, VMI, and customer portals. Basically, Web Connect installs on a Windows server in your environment, as I mentioned, so certainly users inside your internal network can use it while in the office, and of course your remote or mobile users can also access Web Connect from anywhere using whatever security schema you guys have in place. So if you have a VPN, a firewall, or any security appliance, Web Connect just flows right through that. Also, wanted to mention that we do have a free community version, as we call it, of Web Connect. So if you're looking for a quick, easy way to let your users access their P21 data on their smartphones or tablets for free, you can visit p21connect.com/community and register, and we'll send you those deployment bits. It's really a good tool that a lot of P21 shops actually use as their primary mobile application for P21, and it also additionally serves as a great way for folks to test the mobile waters and really get some good feedback from users to try to define their mobile needs. Also wanted to mention that Web Connect full version free trial is available as well. That's for folks that want to try all the features of Web Connect live against their P21 data in their environment. So it's a great way to really evaluate all the Web Connect features at your leisure with your actual meaningful data in view. Last thing I wanted to mention as well, for more information about either the community, the free community version, or the full version of Web Connect, you can go to our YouTube channel. That's youtube.p21connect.com, and there's also lots of information on our website, including our blog, which is p21connect.com/blog. So now I'd like to pass it on to Andy for the Web Connect tour. Thank you, Cheryl.
Great. So I think I'm sure, can you see my screen at this point? Okay, great. So hi guys, this is Andy. I'll be walking us through the Web Connect system today. Kind of what I'm going to do is kind of walk through a typical scenario where a sales rep is going to interact with the system and some things that they might do. As you can expect, there's a lot of different paths through the system. There's a lot of different use cases for Web Connect. I'm just going to take one path through and show some of the neater features. As I do this, I'm actually going to log in as the admin user. An admin user and a sales rep will see pretty much the same thing. A sales rep's data simply filtered for them. The reason I'm logging in as an admin is simply because an admin also has some additional features that I'd like to show while we're doing this. So let me get logged in real quick here. And this will load up the screen as an admin user. But again, this is the same thing a sales rep would see. It's just the data would be filtered specifically for them. For those of you that are our current clients that may be hopping in to kind of get a refresher on Web Connect, this is the brand new version that will be released very, very shortly. So if you're seeing some things that you're not used to seeing on your screen, you can get these very, very quickly at this point. So kind of review this screen. This is the home screen, the screen that most of you would see when you first logged into the system. On the left-hand side, I have some announcements. So what these are basically is if you are a Web Connect admin and you want to push out information to a sales rep or sales managers or even customers that log into the system, you can do that. So maybe you wanted to announce a price increase or a new product line or something like that. You can actually let your users know through announcements. Those can show up on the main screen here, and you can also email those out. So it's a great way to communicate to people with new things that are going on in your organization. These are latest alerts. These are going to be different for each user that's out in the system as well. You can configure your alerts by going through the Alert tab up at the top right-hand corner. This tells me I have 1,135 undismissed alerts because I'm not very good at dismissing them. But these are just the latest ones right here, so I can see them. If I wanted to, I could dismiss one from right here by simply clicking on the X, and it will go away. Below that, just some quick information about orders, open orders that are in the system. I get a count of open orders and the total value there. It'll also tell me how many orders I have on hold, the total dollar value of the orders that are on hold. Unapproved orders, the same thing. Total orders on back order, these are line items, and their value. Anything on special or direct is also listed here. So just kind of at a glance, I can see what might be actionable as far as orders are concerned. So in any of these, I could click and drill down and view the details of that, which I'll do in just a little while. In the middle, I have my monthly invoice summary. So this is just a year-over-year chart of the invoices that are in the system. If I want, I can uncheck include this month, and it'll change my numbers down here. What these are telling me, by the way, is this is a 3-month change. So this is comparing the current 3 months to the prior 3 months, and it looks like I'm up 152,000. The 6-month change compares the current 6 months to the prior 6 months, and year over year just simply says how am I doing this year in total invoices to last year. And so it gives me kind of an at-a-glance dollars of how we're doing. And if I look at the chart, that pretty much reflects that. You can see up here in the green that I'm good. I'm outperforming last year pretty well. Just below that, these are things that are actionable for me as far as tasks and opportunities. So it's basically a week view calendar. It's going to show me the next 7 days. Right now it tells me I have 82 past due tasks because I never actually go complete. Most of the tasks that I have in the system, I'm kind of lazy that way in my demo system, but it'll tell me right here I've got an opportunity close. So if anybody is using the opportunity system in Profit 21, this just tells me today I'm supposed to be closing an opportunity for $20,000. Tomorrow I've got another opportunity close for $300,000. That's very nice. And so it just kind of gives me a way to quickly get to those events. If I click on one of these, it'll take me to a detail screen where I can actually edit it, close it, add notes, whatever I need to do as well. From here, I can also create something new. So if I want to create a new task, a new sales call, I'll explain what a sales call is in a few minutes. It's basically a task that is wired up a little differently in Web Connect so that you can do a few more things with it. And it's actually treated more as a sales call than a B21 task. Or I could create a new opportunity. On the top right, I've got an aging chart. This is simply just all the aging of the system. If I were a sales rep, of course, this would just be invoices that are assigned to me and their age here for my customers. A quick opportunity chart. This is kind of a neat one. It's basically going to show me any opportunities that are past due on their anticipated close date in the red. Then anything in the next few months right here, total value of close based on their date. So I can kind of get some kind of feel of what I've got going on with opportunities. And then off here, I kind of call this what's that out in the blue. It's stuff that's out in the future a little further. It just kind of lumps it all together for me. Two other controls that are really interesting here. I've got a declining sales and improving sales control. And what these are showing me are customers that, if I'm looking right now year over year, that are underperforming based on the prior year. So the prior 12 months, they performed better than the current 12 months. And then the inverse of it is the improving sales. So down here I can see this 123 warehousing. This 12-month cycle is up $935,000 over their prior 12-month cycle. A neat thing you can do actually with this is actually filter it or change it. So if I wanted to look at the 6-month change instead of the year over year, it gives me different numbers. And this is kind of interesting. From a high level, if I look, I've got 123 warehousing. If I compare their current 6 months to their prior 6 months, I'm actually down $384,000. Whereas year over year, the prior 12 months to the current 12 months, I'm actually up $1 million. So it looks like, we had a bubble, and we'll eventually take a look at 123 warehousing and see what that bubble actually looks like. I'll go back to year over year here. So other things to kind of note on this screen before I actually kind of explore along as a sales rep. There is a remote orders tab. So Web Connect does support a full variety of different ways to actually order from the system. And this is just a quick tab that gives me an overview of things that are going on with my orders placed through Web Connect. It's telling me that I've got here's my last 5 orders and what their statuses are. Then I've got kind of a summary over on the right-hand side that gives me a little more information and different menu options to let me go to different things within the system as well. I also have a couple of search boxes here. This is a customer search. If I just want to search via wildcard for a customer, I can do that here. Inventory search, pretty much the same thing. Go search for an inventory item. It's kind of a wildcard search, so if I type in box, it'll bring back anything with an item ID, description, alt code, those types of things that relate to box. So it's kind of a quick way to do that. I have some user settings that I can make from here. So if I come from here, I can go change a few settings about the way Web Connect is set up. I can change my theme, change a couple of global filters, that kind of stuff. A lot of different pages have this set as home page, so maybe I don't really want to see this page every time I log in. Maybe what I really want to do is land on the inventory lookup page because I'm always looking up inventory. I can simply set the inventory lookup page as my home page, and then every time I log into the system or click home here, it'll take me back to my home page. So it's a neat kind of control. Globally, I can turn cost and profit on or off. Right now I have it set to on, but there are times, especially when your reps are in the field, where they may need to know what profit is, but they're going to sit down with a customer for a period of time and then go through a customer's account with them and orders, and they want to just turn that off so none of the profit and costing is shown there. Of course, I can sign out. I can switch to mobile views. I'll show you what those are real quick here. If I look at Web Connect on a big screen like I am right now, I'll see Web Connect like this with 3 columns usually, sometimes 1 big column, a lot of different information. If I come over here to an emulator, this is the same screen that's been refactored on the fly so that it just basically puts all the information in 1 large column and maybe hides a couple of things to make it fit on the screen a little better, something like that. However, you'll see when I do switch this down to a mobile view size, there is a little thing that says, hey, if you'd like to switch to the mobile views. And what the mobile views are is these are views that are optimized specifically for the phone instead of refactoring the big views. So it's actually a completely different suite of things, but a lot of the same features that you would normally have, but it's just got bigger buttons. It's easier to see and work with on the phone. So you see I have my order listing here. I can also get to my upcoming events, so these are tasks and ops, and get to those really quickly. I can get to CRM if I want to, go to customer, ship to's, contacts, tasks, look up inventory information, and create new items like prospects, opportunities, sales calls, tasks, that type of thing. For now, I'm just going to stay for this demo in the full version. It's a lot easier to see on the big screen, and gives me a few more features that I can work with. So if I had just logged in as a sales rep and I were looking at my home screen, there are a few things that I would probably really be interested in. The first one would be this order information that I explained earlier. Probably these orders on hold. I mean, I may already know what they are. I may not. If I want to, I can drill down and open that up, and I can see actually the orders that are sitting out here on hold. And if I want to, I can look at the order details. So I can open it up, and it'll show me the Web Connect representation of this order. So I can see the information like the promise date, request date, expedite date. If it's past due, like everything in my system is, or they're going to show up in red. The line items the same way. This is the line item required date, so if those have been changed, you can see different things, so I can get some kind of an idea of what's going on. And I can see the validation status here is hold. So there's a lot of information here. I can look at pick tickets, look at the assigned sales reps since I'm an admin, see any tasks that might be associated with this. And by the way, if I wanted to, I can create a brand new task off of this order, and it would go on. It's live in P21 immediately. So if I wanted to assign an order to, or a task to someone to check on the status of this order, I could maybe take it off hold. Also, I can create new opportunities for this order, work with the notes, that kind of thing, look at some customer information, and also something I really like, I can look at all the other open orders for this customer. By default, it's limited to the ship to, but I don't have to do it that way. I'll go ahead and go back to my home page real quick. So I just hit the back button to get there for right now. The other things that I might be interested in looking at just off of my home screen are these declining sales. The improving sales is very nice information. Definitely look at it. I want to go pat myself on the back, but the ones I'm most concerned about right now are things that are declining. So I'm going to take a look at hotkeys here. And from this takes me to a customer details screen, which gives me a lot of really neat information here. Again, I get my 24-month invoice history chart, so I can kind of see at a glance what they're doing. You can see the prior years here in the blue, and then the green is the current year. And I can see, yeah, except for this little blip in October, the prior year completely outperformed the current year. I can see high credit use, and you can see that that's kind of, it did kind of a creep up last year. It's crept up a little bit again this year. but a lot of great information all at a glance. Aging looks pretty good. Most everything's in 0 to 30, but I do have about $9,000 sitting out there in the 31 to 60. So yeah, they're paying a little bit slow, and their volume's gone down a little bit. Other things I can see over here on this open order summary, this is like the same one that was on the home screen, only this is filtered specifically for this customer. I can see I have one open order, just one, for the open amount is $50. And if I look down a little bit further, I see that, yeah, I got one item on back order for $50. So the only volume that I have active right now with this customer is this $50 back order. If I want to look at it, I could drill down and look at the order details like I did a minute ago. Another neat thing I can do is just actually look at the back order itself. So this is our back order listing. So it can just list all the back orders. Right now it's filtered for my customer hotkeys. I can see that where the ship to is supposed to be, what the item is that's on back order, its disposition. It's filtered for back orders right now. If I want to see anything about the PO, I can just click a little pop-up button, and it tells me, yes, I do have a PO here. It tells me who the supplier is, when the due date is, what we ordered, all that stuff, and it is related to this hotkeys orders directly. So that tells me what their volume is. If the customer's called me and they're asking me about this, I can get to that information really quickly. What I'm really interested in, though, right now is why is this customer, why is their volume falling off? So like on the home screen where we just showed declining sales by the customer, when you get to a customer detail screen, it actually breaks it down and shows you the declining and improving sales by product group. So in this case, I can see right off the bat, well, yeah, where they've fallen off is this undercoat liquid product group right here. They are up a little bit in welding, chemicals, Jan and sand liners, nothing great, but I'm really wondering about this particular product group. So I can click this if I want to and open it up, and it'll show me the actual items that where they're declining here. So I can see, yeah, they've fallen off about $44,000 in this, whatever it is here, this 55-gallon drum, and they've fallen off another $26,000 on this this 330-gallon tote thingy. If I want to, I can look at months. So this just kind of breaks everything out by the months. So I can see month by month how they declined. They did have that one little blip where they went up just a little bit. And just for reference, here's a way to visualize it, a quick chart to let you see everything kind of graphically. Makes it a little easier to visualize what the production of these items have been. One other kind of neat feature here, if I want to see a little bit about this item specifically, I can take this this tote or maybe this 55-gallon drum, just click on it, and it'll open up a new item details screen. And what it's going to do is show me everything about the item in our inventory. Shows me all of the different locations we have, quantity available. There's some information about column pricing, costing, that kind of stuff. I can look at latest orders, invoices, all that kind of stuff. And it also shows me the price. And this is the actual price for this customer. So basically, since I came from the customer detail screen, it knows who the customer is, and it brings back the item and lets me see what their current unit price for this would be out of P21, whether it's going to be however the pricing works in P21 for you. So if you're using pricing libraries, whatever it might be, that's the price you'll get in WebConnect. If I want to change the unit of measure, I can do that and see what the gallon price would be, and I'll just go back to the drum for that. But just kind of a neat way to be able to see that information. Another interesting thing that's on this screen is the last hard touch date. So if you're using tasks in P21, there's a flag called hard touch. So a task can be said that this is a hard touch, and the idea behind that is this is when I've actually, however it's defined in your organization, had a meaningful contact with this customer. It wasn't just send them a postcard. It's usually a meeting of some kind. A lot of times it's a face-to-face, in-person meeting. So this tells me the last hard touch date was 8/22/16, and the reason for that is I was playing around with the system yesterday and actually created a task and completed it. So that'll tell me that's that. But a lot of times you'll find that either there's no last hard touch date at all for a customer, or that last hard touch date may be sometime in the past. This just gives you an indication of the health of your relationship with the customer if you're tracking it using tasks in P21, so you can relate those items and join them together. It'll tell me what the title of the task was and what the activity was. In this case, it was a visit by me, admin, on this stuff. If I really wanted to, I could click this button and actually open up the task detail. So it'll show me what the WebConnect representation of the task is. And in this case, it's a sales call. And I can tell that because it has different information than a regular task. And it's what I set up. And I'll show you how all that works here in just a minute with this customer. This information that's improving and declining product group sales, there actually is another way to look at that under the customer details screen, and that's under the product group comparison tab. So if I pop that thing open, this will basically list all the product groups that this customer has bought over the past 24 months. And if I want to, I can quickly sort that. It gets me back to that same 71,000 decline number. But at this point, I can look at all the product groups. So if we were looking at a larger customer that had different volume and stuff, you'd get a lot more information about this. And again, just like off the home screen, in any of them, if I want to explore the details of exactly what's going on, I can see the previous 12 compared to the current 12 months and the difference on those item sales. I can look at the months themselves, and I can also get that chart. So it's a great way to visualize at a fairly detailed level what's going on with each one of your customers. And again, if your sales rep has customers that they're really wanting to take a look at, this is a great way for them to figure that out. Other neat things you can do when you're looking at this screen, you can look at order analytics. So as the product group sales comparison is based on invoices, these are some order analytics. So same kind of thing. A couple of neat things we do here is we look at the entire prior year. And yes, this is a backdated database a little bit. So we're looking at all of 2013's orders. We look at the current year orders today. In my world, that's 2014. Then we project that out. And it's interesting because this customer actually, if you do the numbers on what they've ordered to date, based on this current 24-month cycle, actually projects out to improve in sales somehow. So I think that's very interesting here. So again, you get a couple of charts that are sitting here that I can look at that tell me a little bit about order dollars, profit dollars, and then profit percent. So interestingly, it looks like in the current year we've actually gone down a little bit in profit percent. A couple of months here we stayed flat and we're down again, and still their sales are declining. Interesting to me. Item summary is also here. There are a lot of interesting, very neat ways to look at the data and really get an understanding of what your customer is doing. Open orders, latest invoices, those things are here. Aging is also here. So if I want to, I can take a peek at what this customer's aging is looking like. Again, 0 to 30, they've got some there, 31 to 60. Yeah, a little bit troubling. These are those actual invoices here. If I want, I could actually open up their oldest invoice or any of the invoices that are on this list and take a look at it. So these are all the items on it. I can go back and look at the original order from here if I want to. So as you see, you can basically move through all of the different screens that are available for you. That it's very easy to move back and forth between all the screens and explore your data at quite a detailed level. So I'll go back to the customer details screen. A couple other things I want to point out real quickly. We do have the ability to, if you open up this permission for your user, and this it's per user permission, they can actually edit customer addresses. We split that permission out between customers and prospects, so you can actually let your reps edit prospects and prospect addresses, but not live customers, things like that. Same thing with ship tos. Contacts, if you need to add a new contact from here, you can definitely do it. You can also edit all of your contact information. Tasks, this will show me all the open tasks for this customer. There are none right now. If I wanted to, though, I could look at completed tasks, and I've got some that are sitting out there. Opportunities, these are all the opportunities for the customer, so if I wanted to go take another look at one of those, I could. And then notes, you can add and edit notes from the Web Connect details screen. So something else that I probably would want to do, let's say that I'm the sales rep and I've taken a look at this customer, and I really think what I need to do at this point is go ahead and call them. I need to do a sales call. So I want to talk to them about the undercoat liquid. Why are they falling off on this? There's a couple of ways that I could do a new sales call. The first, if I'm on this screen, so since I am a customer and on most of the screens within the system, I've got this little phone button. I can click that, and it's just a very quick way to record a sales call or schedule a sales call. So in this case, it's going to default a subject to me called sales call. I can select the type of call that this is going to be, so maybe I just want to do a visit at this case. I can schedule it for today or any date in the future if I want to, and grab a call time if I'm going to do that. It's already pre-assigned to hotkeys for me. I can assign a contact for it, put comments on it. Very, very quick way in order to record a sales call very quickly from the system. What I think I'd like to do, though, is just go ahead and go to the main call screen. So what I'm going to do is go to one of my main menus up here, and I'm going to select Record New Sales Call. And this takes me to a slightly more powerful screen that gives me more information. and more capability. So in this case, I'll put in a new subject, call about undercoat. Hopefully I spell correctly as I'm typing very quickly. Since this is a brand new sales call screen, I do need to go ahead and select the customer. I can search for them. If I know the customer ID, I can type it in here. I can also just do something like that, and it'll filter for me, bring that back. In this case, I'm not going to select a contact or anything. I'm going to make it a visit, just like I was going to make the other one. I'm going to schedule it for the 26th at 1 o'clock. Put in a couple of quick notes here. Call about decline sales. And just, I'm going to go ahead and save this real quick because I want to, it's going to require me to put a contact in. So this is a setting in Web Connect that you can basically require there to be a contact on sales calls. So in this case, I'm going to go ahead and do that, save it, and now I've got a brand new sales call. And if I go back and view my log, I can see it sitting right here. It's scheduled for 8/26. It's for Chotkeys, and I've got Doug that I'm going to be talking to. And notice on the far right, I've got something called a call value. This is still a task in P21, but we've expanded this out a little bit to allow you to do things like this. You can assign product groups that you want to talk to during the sales call. This helps you kind of value these sales calls some way. So in this case, we know we're going to be talking about undercoat liquids. Let me search for that. I double-clicked it. So select that guy real quick. I'm just going to estimate a price of $75,000 because that's the declining sales. I want to throw some notes on here. I could add that guy in and now save it. Now I've got it saved. I'm going to go back and view the log, and you can see that I've got this sales call sitting out here, and it's got an estimated value of $75,000. So this is not only for your sales reps' benefit to be able to kind of look at these things, but it's also a great benefit for your sales managers or any other admin user that's going to go in and kind of look and see what the sales reps are doing and what they have the ability to do. So I'm going to pop back in there real quick. I'm going to look at this guy, and I want to show you another really neat feature. Let's say this sales call went great, and it's definitely going to be, we've got this undercoat liquid thing figured out. I'm going to go ahead and turn this into an opportunity. So all I have to do is click one button, and this starts a brand new opportunity in Profit 21. It brings all my notes that I brought in, all that kind of stuff that I've got. It's got it assigned right now to me, the admin, because that's who I did. It's got the sales rep. This is the actual sales rep from the account, so that's who it assigned it to. At this point, I can go ahead and select a type. I'll just do that because I'm really not sure what that is. Make it active. I'm going to do samples on that guy. Step is going to be a demo. Next step date is going to be the 30th. And we'll go ahead and click next, and it'll pop me into a brand new opportunity. So from here, I could go and work with this opportunity just like I would in P21. Real quick, I'm going to go ahead and show you what the opportunity log looks like. So if I go to my opportunities, go take a look at that opportunities, I can see that all my opportunities are sitting right here. If I wanted to find it, I can look at it by customer. So in this case, this is a filter, so I know I've got opportunities for Chotkeys. I can go find that guy, and here are all the other ones that I've got sitting out here for these guys right here. A couple of neat things I wanted to show you real quick in regards to opportunities. We have expanded this out as well to give you some better views than just a grid. One of my favorites is the forecast. So this is my opportunity forecast. It takes all of my opportunities and puts them in buckets for me. We have something called dormant. So there's a way you can set opportunities that go over a certain number of months old as dormant, so we don't kind of take them as part of our major opportunity pipeline. It actually happens a lot where opportunities just kind of slip away somehow. Here's past due opportunities, all of my opportunities in their buckets, that kind of stuff. I can do a lot of filtering here if I want to. Another neat way to look at opportunities, and this is very handy if you're having a sales meeting, is you can look at all of your opportunities in the pipeline. So this basically takes all your opportunities by stages that you set up inside of Profit 21 and puts them in their stage buckets. What's really neat about this is that it gives you your total value by stage. So the idea is over the stage, you're getting closer and closer to closing the opportunities. What makes this screen so great to work with is I can not only drill down to an opportunity detail by clicking on it, but if I'm in a sales meeting and I just say, okay, what stage is this in? Is this still in samples? No, we're all the way to demo on that. All I got to do is take it and drag it over and drop it into its new stage, and it'll go ahead and save it for me. And now my opportunities have moved. So it makes it a lot faster to be able to move around your opportunities and get a great handle on where they are in time. So I'm going to go real quickly, because I think I'm running out of time. A lot of times when we do these demos, it can take at least an hour to cover things like remote ordering. So I'm going to pop back into this opportunity that we just started. So this was the sales call. Notice it has an opportunity automatically linked to it now. I can get to the opportunity from the sales call from here. And we've got a lot of these different things that we can do. Another thing that I might want to do if I'm a sales rep at this point is I've got this opportunity. I'd like to generate a remote quote or an order for it. You can do that straight off the Web Connect opportunity screen. So I just click New Remote Quote or Order, and it'll pop me into a screen to do that. Everything's preloaded. I'm ready to go. If this case, I could go search for an item, but I'm going to show real quick how you can bulk add an item in here. So if I want to, I can just bulk add from order history. Just go find all the items that they order. And if, by gosh, here's that tote, so I'm going to say they're going to be 4 of these, and I'm just going to add some things at random here and just dump them onto the order. Notice I get a new order total up here. I can go back and look at my order, and it's just moving through like that. So basically, we've gone from exploring a customer, figuring out that they're declining in sales, scheduling a sales call, turning that sales call into an opportunity, and now a remote quote. So from here, I can go ahead and process this quote, send it in, or I can turn it into a quote by checking the checkbox. Process this and send it into P21 from here. I can email it to the customer. There's a lot of different things that I can do from here. So real quick, I think I've got about 4 or 5 minutes before I'm going to turn it over to Ewell. I want to show a couple of other neat things that are in the system. So I'm going to go back to my home screen. And, you know, we just scheduled this opportunity, and we've got sales calls that are sitting out here. I want to show the calendar real quick. So if I go over to my calendar, these are all the opportunities and tasks and sales calls that are in the system. So these orange guys, these are opportunity next step dates. The green guys are opportunity anticipated close dates. The red ones are sales calls, and the blue ones are just regular old P21 tasks. From here, if I want to, I can open this guy up and see the details of it. I can get back to the call details from here, but it tells me the information about it. But if I need to, I can just drag it to a new place. So it makes it really easy. Instead of having to go log into P21, open up the task, and figure out what's going on with it, I can just drag and drop things and open them. Very, very, very much more user-friendly. If I want to, I can also filter a lot of this information on my calendar. So if you're an admin or a sales manager, you just want to see the calendar for a specific sales rep, you can filter it for that kind of stuff. So makes it very easy to be able to dynamically work with this calendar. So I wanted to show that really quickly. Another neat thing I wanted to kind of bring up real quick, if I can, if you are an admin or a sales manager, we have a screen called a sales rep overview. And what this allows you to do is look at all of the sales reps in the system in kind of a quick way to be able to kind of see how they're doing. And so this is what it looks like. So it brings back all my sales reps and puts them in the left-hand corner, the left-hand column, and then here's kind of like their dashboard. So I can just basically look at all their dashboards that I go through. If I want to select another one, just click on it, and it gives me that information really quickly. So it's a neat thing to be able to look at your reps. One final thing, and I'm sorry I'm rushing through this so fast, is let's say I'm scheduling that sales call, and I want to see who else is around me. A neat thing I can do is go to my ship-to listing. So let's say I'm going to go call on a specific ship-to, and I know where they are out there, and so I know it's one of these 123 warehousing guys, and I know he's at 64057 in the zip code. I can go filter for him and see who else is around him. And where that's really beneficial is if I'm going to be calling on a group of or a customer on the other side of town, or maybe in a different state, and I don't want to just call on him, I want to be able to use my time effectively, I can see who my ship-to is around him. And I can apply a lot of different filters like class filters and other things that are in here. But once I have my listing, I can simply map the ship-tos, and it'll bring back all of my ship-tos that I just took a look at on my listing and plot them for me on a map. And from this point, I can easily see where these guys are, make some decisions. Maybe this guy cancels. Maybe if he cancels, I can just go call on these guys right in here. I can just cold call on them real quickly. Or I can actually try to schedule sales calls for this whole area for a day that I'm going to be in this specific range. So anyway, those are some of the high points. There are a lot more things that we did not get to in the system. If you are interested in seeing a lot more and also seeing this data installed in your environment, please give us a call and we'll get this set up for you usually within about a day. Thank you very much. Any questions, Cheryl?
We do have a bunch of questions, and that's what I was going to ask you. If you want to take questions now, or do you want to wait until a little bit later in the presentation?
Yeah, we can definitely take them now. We should have time. Go ahead.
Okay. So the first one was at the very beginning of the presentation. You were talking about open orders. Was what you were showing, was that by sales rep or for the entire company?
Since I'm logged in as an admin, it's for the entire company. But if I were logged in as a sales rep, it would just be orders for that sales rep. So this would be only things that are pertinent to them.
And then the other question we have from the beginning was, do user-defined fields appear in Web Connect?
We have a way to map user-defined fields into Web Connect, and we also have a construct that allows you to create user-defined fields that are only in Web Connect. So we can do both.
Another question, are these live database queries that you're, yes?
Yes, for the most part, they're absolutely live database queries. We do have some optimization things that we can do. They're optional, where we flatten data down for performance reasons, so we can run it a couple of different ways there. Definitely for some of the larger data sets, a lot of times we'll recommend flattening the data down, but typically we can set the interval of when that's going to be flattened if you want to run that way. But if you're looking at an order or a customer or anything along those lines, this is reading directly out of your P21 database.
Okay. Another important question we have here is regarding those members that are Epicor hosted. How does Web Connect, or can Web Connect work with Epicor hosted environments?
Our community version can run in an Epicor environment. The full version of Web Connect does require that we install a database, and I do believe Epicor has a bit of an issue with third parties installing databases in their environments. So it's something that, if we can work with Epicor and get that installed and do our configuration the way we need, it'll run just fine. It's something we'd have to look at on a case-by-case basis for sure.
And we'll do two more questions before I let you move on with your presentation. So the next one is, does the total amount and profit percentage include freight or just the sales amount?
By default, it just includes the sales amount. There are ways to look at the data to where you can include freight. I don't know why you would on the profit side and other charge amounts and things like that. But for the most part, it is just inventory sales, and that's the default way the system runs.
And so the next question we have before I let you keep going is, can the dates for sales calls and tasks flow over into a user's Exchange calendar?
Not at this time. There are ways that if you, let's say you open up a sales call or a task, that you can save those as a VCal file and then add them directly to Outlook. But direct integration with Exchange is something we do not support at this time.
Well, that's all the questions we have now. Are we ready to pass the control over?
Yeah, absolutely. So
Yep.
Ewell will be presenting next. You may have seen some grids and stuff within the system that I was presenting. What Ewell is getting ready to show you is a way you can make them do exactly what you need them to do.
Great. Thank you, Andy, for giving me that. I'm going to give you guys a bit of a preview of our new Data Explorer. It's going to cover three main different sections, our gridding side, our charting side, and our mapping side. So it's an expansion of the functionality that we have inside of our core software, but to give you guys the ability to customize the information that you're looking at. So what you're looking at currently is a grid that I have created out of a base SQL. So if I were to look at this, I can see that I wrote a SQL statement, gave it a grid name, checked that it's chartable or filterable by sales rep ID, and I'll talk about that in a minute. From that, it pulls column information, so I can set these things for titles for each of the columns, and then I can say what platform it shows on, if it's on a desktop, tablet, or cell phone, so that whenever the grid renders, it shows the appropriate information on that page. So from that SQL, what I'm going to get is this grid that is dynamically populating from the SQL database. So I have a grid that I can place anywhere within Web Connect for my sales reps or users to interact with. From there, I have all of the functionality that Excel has. I can sort this by clicking on column names. I can filter this by selecting the column and selecting a date. I can say, let's say, 4/18/2014. Select that date, filter it. That's going to filter the date. I can go ahead and select additional columns or hide and show columns. I can move around columns. And what this gives our users is the ability to have direct access to the information that we want them to. Because Web Connect provides a whole suite of data, but that data might not exactly have that one column that you need. Also, the added benefit of this is that we can join in data from all of your different systems. So whether it be Profit 21 or an Access database you have somewhere, or another database that you use for accounting, whatever it might be, it joins that information up and we can present it in a single place. We can also set permissions on each one of these columns and grids. So I can say sales reps can view this grid, but they can't view this column. So you might have profit in certain columns or invoice totals or whatever it might be. So this gridding concept expands out, and I can create drillable grids. So if I pop over here, I have a customer grid. So I see my company ID, who the sales rep is, and the customer name. But let's say I want to drill into 123 warehousing. So from there, when I drill into 123 warehousing, I have a subgrid of invoices and orders. So similarly to the grid that I showed previously, all of these are defined by SQL as we want them. And the Web Connect Data Explorer will come with a whole suite of grids, but you can create your own. So I can drill into that. I can see, oh, okay, I have invoice number. I can drill into that and see the invoice line. From there, I can see the order, drill into that, and see the order and the line items for each of those. And all of those have the ability to filter, sort, just like Excel. And then I can take it, hit the Excel, export to Excel button, and get all of that information back out to me. So this is, at a very high level, a preview of our gridding software, and we can place these grids anywhere within Web Connect that you want your sales reps, customers, etc., to be able to view throughout the system. So from there, I'm going to jump to our charting. So one of the things that I showed you was our sales rep analytics. So I have this chart that I'm creating called sales rep analytics. It's a bar chart that I'm defining it as, and I'm saying it's using the dynamic invoice grid or the sales rep analytics grid for the source of information. From there, I can define the different types of series. So for example, profit, quantity ordered, average quantity ordered, or invoice amount. And so I can tell it, okay, whenever you show this bar chart, I want you to be able to show profit. I want it to be summed. I want you to show the maximum quantity. And so I can define different metrics that are shown on the bar chart that I'm creating. This gives us the ability to create a dynamic chart from SQL that I have defined. So for example, I am looking at year-over-year average invoice amount. I don't have any filters applied, but let's say instead of average invoice amount, I want to look at the sum of invoice amount. So I can see, okay, this is how my data live from Profit 21 is scaling throughout time. Let's say instead of year, I want to view it by class. So I can shift my grid to class and bring up that information directly onto the screen. So I have 3 types of classes. I have industrial, customer, gen, office supply inside of my test database. I can see how they look throughout that. Let's say that instead of that, I want to select year, but I want to filter on a customer. So I can select customer. I can add whatever I want in there, filter on, let's say, County Mechanics, and then Powell Motors. I can apply that filter, and I can see that same information rendered dynamically in a chart. And so all of these charts are buildable by you with the SQL completely accessible to you and defined by who can access it, what they can access, and how they can view it throughout the system. So it gives us ultimate flexibility for you guys to be able to interact and give your sales reps exactly what they need. Because, you know, we can brainstorm quite a few different charts and quite a few different grids, but there's always going to be that one additional column that one sales rep is going to need, and this gives you the ability to show that and provide that. With this concept, you can do bar charts, pie charts, line charts, area charts, all the different things that you've seen throughout the main Web Connect demonstration. The last section I want to hit on is our mapping. So you saw within the main Web Connect presentation our ship to radius mapping. This is an expansion of that concept and uses a lot of the concepts that I've kind of covered already with the gridding. So I've defined a grid that gives me year-to-date revenue, last year's year-to-date revenue, address, city, state, ship to name, class, sales rep, and the difference. And what you're looking at here is that information mapped. So each of those pieces of information in that grid are a block pinpoint on this map. So I can click on here. I can see that 123 Warehousing, located in Kansas City, Missouri, last year had $0 in revenue. This year had $65,000 in revenue, and that's why they have a green pinpoint. I can see here in Utah that last year Mahoney and Tate had $1,000 in revenue, and this year they have $51, and with a huge percent difference. And with this map, how those numbers are calculated is again from the SQL script that I've defined, but I can also define what constitutes a red icon and a green icon. Why this is important is as your sales rep is viewing his information in totality, you can quickly identify, okay, why is a certain section of the country doing poorly? So as you can see over here, seems like our southeast is not doing so great. It seems like our north around the Ohio region is not doing so great. So has a new competitor entered the market in that area that I need to be considering? Is the territory that the sales rep is managing not doing well? So I need to make sure that I'm viewing all of that. Again, all defined, SQL defined by you, settings defined by you, for you guys to be able to analyze. Our last thing is our ability to do routing for our sales reps. So they can map all of the ship-tos or sales calls that they're jumping on. Let's say that a sales rep is trying to plan his different routes. He enters a starting and ending location, and then he starts selecting the ship-tos that he's wanting to visit. This gives him the ability to select the different ship-tos and get an optimized route for each of the directions that he's going. So it pinpoints all of the ship-tos that we've selected and gives us the address and tells us, okay, it's best to start at 123 Warehousing Plant 4 and then go to 123 Warehousing. It also gives us the total travel time, including traffic and all that, so that as the sales rep is trying to plan out his day, he has a better idea with the text directions at the bottom so that he can quickly peruse all of that information. So this is just a quick preview. Please come by the booth to be able to play with this software and have at it. So I'll hand it back to you, Cheryl, to ask more questions. Thank you.
Great, and we do have another question actually, and so the question really came from what you showed, which is, are we able then, if we know SQL, create a grid from scratch as a user?
Yes, completely. So you can enter, this is the SQL information that you enter. You can define the name of that SQL or the grid. You can define the titles. So whenever the header, you don't necessarily want it to say, customer ID or customer underscore name. You can give it a title. You can say what's hidden and what's shown. And then it will render that grid directly from that SQL. If you have additional columns in there that you want them to be able to select, you can allow them to select it. So as you guys probably know who know SQL, this is just a select star from the customer table, and they can select all the different columns that they want. Yep.
Perfect. Well, we don't have any more questions right now. I don't know if we want to circle back to Doug and Andy. Do they have anything else they want to add at this point?
No, Cheryl, this is Doug. I think we've covered what we can in the time allotted. So if anybody wants any more information, there's a lot more detail we can cover. Certainly get in touch, and we'd be happy to do a demo, talk about a trial, talk more about community or what's coming, things like eWell showed. So I think that's all we had for today.
Well, and like we talked about, you will be at Connect and your booth will be there, of course. And, you know, they're going to be there the whole conference. It's a great opportunity just to find time even after hours or during lunch, or if we can get them up early for breakfast, have a coffee, even just off in a corner, talk a little bit more, see a little bit more live. If you can't come to Connect, give them a call and just set up a one-on-one demo, talk through it with more detail, talk a little bit more about what you're going through in your business situation, because as much as this presentation was incredibly thorough, and I don't know how could have kept notes during it, they really just scratched the surface based on providing a general overview for the majority of companies that they're aware of. They could definitely get into a more specific conversation one-on-one. So I hope I didn't sign you up for a lot of phone calls, gentlemen, but so I want to thank you for being here today, for always supporting the user group. For those of you on the call, thank you for continuing to come to these sessions. Your suggestions for content and presentations definitely helps us define our calendar, our webinar calendar. This session was recorded and will be available in about 24 hours and posted onto the user group forum, so keep an eye out for that, but it does take us 24 hours to get that link ready for you. If you would like it emailed to you, just send me an email after the presentation and I'll make sure to email the link over to you. So thank you, gentlemen. I look forward to seeing you in just over a month. And for everyone else, thank you for joining us and have a great rest of your day.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye, guys.